Businesses are struggling to get leads. So is AI your salvation? I've been in AI for over a decade, building it, breaking it, and seeing what really works. And I'm here to call BS on the bad advice.
And I'm here to make sure that we stay human as we go up in the AI.
I'm James.
I'm Tanya, and welcome to Up in the AI.
All right, so I'm super excited about this topic. Lead gen has been a part of my life for over 10 years. Back when I first started my fintech, my software development agency, and I was also the product lead of an outreach platform that used AI about 7 or 8 years ago. Before we jump in, we've got to work out whether AI is changing the game. So Tanya, what do you reckon? Initial thoughts?
Yeah, I would say 100% strong yes. I think
Okay.
it's one of the key areas that it is delivering huge value.
All right, but we've got to get to terms with what's BS and what's a real breakthrough, right?
Yes, 100%, definitely. So I've got some questions that I can ask you that you can share your insights on. You ready?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, so I think this one is interesting. AI means that I can pay a bit of money, sit back, kick back, and my pipeline is going to be flooded with new prospects.
Okay, well, there's a difference between a contact that you have their details and a true lead, right? So for me, a lead is someone that you've talked to, that you've actually got some intent with, right? Whether a contact is just a contact. So could you pay a little bit of money and get a shed load of emails and phone numbers that potentially are in line with your ICP? Yes. Does that actually turn into leads for you? And is it actually going to lead to conversations and conversions just to set and forget? Absolutely no. This is the mistake that so many people are making. It's
Right.
absolutely BS for sure.
Okay, so I would like to challenge a little bit on that one because from experience and utilizing some AI tools, and LinkedIn is a strategy, like LinkedIn is a platform, for example, and there money goes in, not very much comes back. There's a lot of content or like communication getting pushed out, but the response rate is quite low. So from that, I wouldn't say that you are gathering lots and lots of data.
Yeah, but you could just pay for something like Apollo and get thousands of names for tiny amounts of money.
Okay. So it depends on the tool. It's
Well,
not necessarily.
I think we're saying the same thing. Like, you can't set and forget, pay and get leads, but I can get you tell me your ICP now. I could download you 2,000 names to put into a list. Sure, like that's easy. But what most people think is now that we've got AI, it's a magic wand, and these contact lists are going to suddenly become all of your clients. It's hard. Like, if we're talking about contact lists, the way that you have to get them is with cold outreach, LinkedIn, as you mentioned. That's if you're doing B2B. B2C, it's even harder.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's not. If anything, AI is actually making it harder. Why? Because these lists, these names are getting easier to track. You can scrape them from LinkedIn. You've got all of these other data sources. And it's easier to build generic emails, right? So now your mailboxes are flooded.
Right.
I read a stat recently. Last year, it's like the reply rate on cold email has been dropping by 15% every year. Last year it was 2 point something percent. Next year it's going to be 1.5, right? So slowly but surely we're dropping. It's making it harder. And that's because, like everything with AI, we're just saturating our market with content, with emails, with all of these different opportunities.
Got you. All right. So you've actually covered off the next two questions I had. Literally, it's like, no, the first one was around quantity. Like AI is just going to deliver you copious amounts of leads and for a very small amount of money. Next one, it's going to bring you qualified leads. And the one that was coming after that is an overabundance of AI going out there and basically annoying people to death. And so the response rate and the actual follow-up from those or response rate from those leads is going down. So you've actually called it already.
I've ruined the whole segment.
No. You've just it's a very natural flow. You didn't know what was coming, so it's all fine. But yeah, you've given the answer to those questions, which I think is really important to understand, right?
Okay.
In terms of talking about AI and lead gen.
One caveat.
Okay.
You said qualified leads, right? So it's not happening at the moment. People aren't using it properly. But I actually think in the sales process, sales is where we specialize at Engine. the sales process is actually perfect for that SDR, that setter, right? It can do, especially with text message, conversational AI, so it can ask the questions, seem human, and escalate to a human where needed. The problem I find is actually in the middle. So yes, you can pull a lot of contacts. Yes, you can use AI to qualify it, but starting the conversation, that's the difficult part. That's the bit that people aren't getting. And things like emails, we're seeing all of the same emails. If you go to your inbox and you have a look at all of the cold emails that are sent to you, they're all essentially the same. Crappy subject that screams you're going to be sold to.
Yep.
A first line that overpromises, and most people are not going to open that. And I've got some great stuff around cold email outreach if you want to hear it, but maybe that's a bit later in the segment.
Yeah, I think we'll definitely want to get to that. I think it'd be very interesting. So again, I just think it just compounds that you're kind of an expert in this area, because the next 2 points that I was going to ask or ask you to comment on was, I'm a business owner. Woohoo! I don't need a sales team anymore. AI can do all of the roles.
Bullshit.
Right? And you've coined it. Yeah. But then the last point was the sweet spot really is it's when AI and human or people come together. And it's about knowing when to put the human in that process and when to let AI take the brunt of the work, right?
So
yeah.
80 to 90% of businesses are going to do this wrong, which means that there's an absolutely monumental opportunity for the people that do it right. Not be more excited and emphasize enough that the people do it right are going to win so much, because there's going to be so many people doing it wrong. It's like this 2%, this 1.5% reply rate is average, right? And most people are going to give up, or they're just not going to iterate. They're not going to A/B test. But the people that actually go beyond that, the people that use AI correctly, right? And so for an email going out, what to do and what not to do with AI, right? You don't want AI writing your whole email. But yes, you can use it to ideate. You can use it to do a couple of first drafts. But these days, emails are all about conversation. There's a rule. It's either the pub rule or the WhatsApp rule, whatever you want. It's if you wouldn't want to receive it on a WhatsApp, if you wouldn't want to hear it over a pint at the pub, then it's not going to work, because it's conversational. You need to get a reply. So AI doesn't write like that. AI writes like the years of crappy generic cold outreach that we have done and has been successful up until that point. And another critical point is AI is going to be fighting AI, right? Whether you're talking about the Google algorithm that's recently been changing to fish out more spam, or you're talking about the fact that most of our mailboxes are going to be managed by agents, AI agents. They're not going to let through generic crap, right? So it's AI fighting against AI. But the people that can be bothered to take these ideas that AI generate and put a human twist on it, they're going to get through. And so they're not just going to have a 3% or 4% reply rate. They can have a 10, 15, 20% reply rate.
Yep.
The other thing, there's this whole concept of, now we're actually in the world where every single email going out should be completely unique, and we should be able to use AI to do that. Okay, there's a yes and there's a no to this. I think if you're going to leave AI to write the whole email, you're going to struggle with hallucinations, with this generic sales text. Yeah, it's not great. But if you write 80% of the email and then you just leave 20%, like some sort of personalized one line, it could be the first line or the second line, and you leave that little bit to AI with really strict guardrails, with your tone of voice, then essentially every email is going to be unique, but the majority is going to follow the boilerplate. That's where you're going to win.
Okay. All right. You're getting ahead of yourself. Right. Slow down, slow down, slow down. I can just hear people wizardingly trying to write things down or like transcribe. Yeah, let's break it down, okay? Because I think you're absolutely right. Getting it right is, well, now I had a very real experience that happened to me today, even, where it wasn't on the sales side, it was the customer service side, but I think the principles remain the same and how AI was used incorrectly. Now, very well-known entity, and they ran an event, and there was a subscription that was offered at a very reasonable rate that would kick into a monthly higher rate ongoing. That effed up, basically. And so there was a big F up there. But then they had obviously leaned into AI being their response to their customers. And that just compounded the problem like 1,000%, to which their feed and their community went from talking about learning and positive outcomes to this is unacceptable, this is not okay. And the brand, like I forget, the view of the brand just literally went, yeah. And it's a very well-respected organization as well. I'm sure they'll be able to pull it back, but a hell of a problem I wouldn't want to be dealing with right now. And I was part of it, and I've left away with that feeling, thinking, yuck. So anyway, go back to sales, because I just wanted to comment that it is really important. And I think most people were aware that they were just being battered back with AI crap, if I can put it like that. And the hoops that I had to go through to get to a human was too. Anyway, so back to sales. Let's start from the beginning. So if you are a business owner, solopreneur, you're a small business owner looking to integrate AI into your sales process, how would you start? And like, what are the steps and what are the tips you would give them along the way?
Okay. Let's first say this. We just talked about it today. We are going to run a mastermind on how to get leads. We're going to do this free within the community. It's going to be January or February. So the nuts and bolts of this is going to be in this free mastermind. So all you have to do is join our free community, Make Money with AI. It's unschool, and you will get the full playbook. I've already done it for multiple communities, paid communities, and with raving fans loving it. So I don't want to go into the nuts and bolts of it too much. But I'll say this. You've got to start unscalably. The mistake that everyone is making, similar to what we've already said about the contact list, is they think AI is a magic wand. And suddenly, you can automate all of this stuff. You can build workflows that automatically scrape, automatically data enrich, automatically send out, and you can do all of these things, right? These are incredible. There's off-the-shelf tools like Clay that you can build it yourself with NA10. There's Apify for scraping. There's everything you could possibly imagine. AI rules in this. Like, it's such a good use case for AI. The problem is not the technology. The problem is the human beings using it. They don't know who their targets are. They don't know. They don't have a good offer. They're way too broad. They got zero clue on what kind of messaging resonates. So when I teach this successfully to clients, this is what I say. First off, go for your warm network. Everyone underestimates the network that they've already got. Doesn't even matter if you're not a business owner. You still have friends and family. You still have ex-employers. You still have ex-colleagues, some of them who probably become solopreneurs, right? Go out to them. Once you understand who you're targeting, it's the power of one. We talk about it all the time. It's like, one problem solved. You're solving one problem for one target ICP, and you're usually marketing that on one platform. The power of one. So do this with your warm network first. Go test it out on them. Don't necessarily go to sell. Go to get feedback. If you've got a platform like LinkedIn, maybe it is a soft sell. Maybe you're going to give away for a discount or even for free in return for a case study. But the process of having these conversations will enable you to understand exactly how you need to pitch that offer. What are the buttons to press? What are the words that you need to say that are going to get your target's attention? And then you scale that. And I would say B2B, scale it on LinkedIn first, make sure that's working, and then pop it into email.
So when you say wait until this moment, what is it they're looking for to have really understood? Like, what are the markers, indicators that saying, okay, now it's time for me to scale? Like, I've got it right, or I've got it right enough.
It's like levels. So level 0, before you get into level 1, is you have not had any conversations. You've got a gut reaction. You've probably used AI, hiding behind all of AI's ideas with no idea yourself, or no proof, I should say, that it's actually going to work.
Yep.
Level 1, I would say, is right, tick in the box. You've had some conversations and people like your ideas and your offer. Level 2, you've serviced someone. You might not have made any money, but you've serviced someone. They're happy. You've got a case study, right? We haven't done any marketing or outreach yet. This is all warm, right? We've not used AI to automate anything. Level 3, you are now going unscalably, manually onto LinkedIn, and you're going to do some actual cold outreach. You're going to reach out to people that's your target ICP. You're going to find them from Sales Navigator or just the general LinkedIn search, and you're going to give personalized messages. You're going to use looms. You're going to get them on as many calls as you can. You're going to actually sell them. So tick in the box when you've actually made money. Next level up is you're going to start automating LinkedIn outreach. Then you're going to start getting these conversations without having to do all of the personalization, because you started to see a trend, what's working, what's resonating. Then you're going to scale that into email, and you're going to do it en masse and send thousands of emails out. That's how you go from 0 to a scalable business.
So what you're looking for then is you're really finding out who is responding to you positively to really nail down who is your actual customer, not who you thought your customer was, and what is the messaging that's resonating with them that I know seems to work mostly. And that's what I'm taking forward. I'm putting that data into those systems that's then going to just scale my level of communication, volume of communication to those people.
Exactly. And in between some of these leveling ups, you're going to do A/B testing. If something's not quite working, what do people do? They throw the whole thing out and they're like, oh, I need to go for a different targeting. Or I need to completely change my offer. But it's no, just change one thing. Change the subject line, change, maybe a bit of the pricing. Just change one thing, test it for a few weeks. Average, people aren't going to get this right for 3 months. So if you're already giving up after 2 weeks, you're doomed. Because you're going to keep changing every 2 weeks. So you're never going to get enough traction.
Right. And I would just add in there, price is the last thing. I would say, like, you probably have done a bit of due diligence before, but I wouldn't tweak price. I would tweak offer. Like, I would go in and work on that to make it, as appetizing as possible to get a higher, to earn that higher price. Getting a lot of people are getting into business for themselves is because they want to be able to get financial freedom. Charging less is not going to get you there. And, unless you're doing volume drop shipping, it's not like where you want to go.
And we both love Hormozy, right? So what does he give? The advice he gives to all SMEs is double the price. Just keep doubling it until you can't sell it anymore. So even if you go high, the high likelihood is that you've underpriced yourself. So you'll end up doubling it once it works. Yeah.
Got you. Okay, great. So then thank you for explaining that. I think that's really valuable. So is there any more to share around on outreach in terms of getting new prospects? Yeah. Is there stuff you want to share? Because I said you don't want to go too much into everything that you present.
I think have a look at Instantly is the platform I use for cold outreach, email wise. They've got an incredible YouTube channel. The founder mostly talks. Find him. His videos are very, very good. You'll see what they're doing with AI. They're adapting. And the other interesting thing is that Google is just shaking things up. Like they are making it harder and harder to use Google to send these messages and also to get them into the inbox. It used to be that you'd be added to spam if enough people marked you as spam, marked you as junk. Now, Google's algorithm is actually putting you into spam if no one replies to your emails. They're essentially saying, well, no one likes these emails, so we're going to stop delivering them to the inbox. This is the trend we're seeing. 2024, it was Microsoft that shook things up. It's getting harder and harder, but more people are jumping on because of AI. So you just got to think logically about what this means. More people trying it, more people saturating the market, less people being successful.
Hence why it's good to go unscalable first and find what really works before you start to devalue your brand and your IP in that sense. Okay, so what's the next step?
Well, if we think about lead gen, we've got other ways of doing it other than outreach, right? So if you look at the Hormozy models, the things that he talks about, you've got ads, of course, and you've got organic content. They're probably the big three: outreach, ads, and organic content. So we've talked about how AI is shaking things up for outreach. Ads, so I'm not a big ads person, but I know a little bit about Meta. They semi-recently had an update called the Andromeda update, where there's a lot more AI going into how Facebook delivers ads to your audience, or the audience that you've highlighted in the campaign. So you'll see trends in marketing, right? It doesn't matter whether we're talking outreach or we're just talking general funnels. We're now at that stage of business where you get discovered by adding pure value, no sales. The whole discovery thing, you can't go straight to conversion. Then you've got this kind of like intermediary stage where you might be offering a few lead magnets, you might be doing some soft sales, but it's still not a pure bottom of funnel conversion. Then you've got your conversion. So from what I understand about Meta and the new AI algorithms is what the Meta is looking for is for you to have these 3 stages of the funnel deployed in an ad campaign. You've got a big market of, let's say, 2-3 million people that you could interact with. Then use the discovery ads to bring that audience down. Then consideration to bring it down further. And then finally conversion. So ads campaigns are requiring you to be more patient because, and it's the same as outreach. Most people don't know how to do it. So most people are doing ads that say, buy my thing. And they're spending shitloads of money not getting a return on ad spend and wondering why it's all failing. And that's because that's what everyone is trying to do. But while these guys are zigging, the people that are winning are zagging because they are being patient. They're using ads for discovery, for consideration, and then for conversion. This might take a few months to actually get rolling. But once it works, it's an always on ads campaign that's actually going to deliver you really good leads, and you're going to get a really good return on ad spend. So that's it. Oh, and the other thing that Facebook is looking at the moment is the AI can actually better deliver leads better to you when it understands what is a good lead. So we've been very reliant on the pixel with event conversions, like a click or a filling of a form, right? But now you can use your CRM systems to say, well, actually, this person is qualified. I want to ping Facebook and say, this is a qualified. So it uses the pixel to track the person through the ads and to that event. And so when you start that process and you're delivering Facebook with the real information it needs, then it can actually adapt its campaign or your campaign to get more of that. And then I say the final thing, and this has been around for a while with Facebook, is you do all of this stuff with the audience, but it's actually so important what you say on those ads. You actually call out who you want, how you're going to help them, because again, the AI understands that and it delivers more of your stuff to the people that you're talking. So if you're really generic, you see the trend again, generic, not focused. If you're really generic, Facebook is going to deliver you to a generic audience that isn't going to work. But if you're super targeted with the language in your ads, then Facebook is going to deliver you to the right people.
Gotcha. Okay, so then you were talking about 3 categories of creating
Content
revenue.
is the other one, yeah.
Yeah, content.
And yeah, much like the others, AI is meaning that more people are putting content out. More people are putting average to substandard content out. So again, these platforms are saturated with crap. So it's all about differentiating yourself. While everyone is putting this, like something works, that gets out there, people copy it, and then AI learns it, and then suddenly everyone's doing it. So it ceases to work. So you're either got to be the trendsetter that is being individual, that's showing something completely different to what AI can even think about. Or you're the early adopters modeling what's working. But once it's been modeled a couple of times, it's done. Unless you're going to put another spin on it. But this is the thing, AI doesn't always know how to put that spin on it. That's where the intelligence of a human being, the creativity of a human being needs to come in. You need to have a look at something, work out what made it work, and then recreate what made it work rather than modeling it word for word or style for style.
Are you saying then that AI right now, in terms of content creation, is only giving us ideas on what's already out there? It's not thinking for itself in terms of, it's not creating for itself. It's not creating new. It's just churning out what's already out there that it can see. And
that's the next goal for AI, is to create something new. Originally, like ChatGPT 3 and whatever, that was really just regurgitating what was already out there, and it wasn't doing a very good job of personalizing. Now with 4, actually a lot of people, just as a quick caveat, 5.2 just came out, and people are complaining again that 5.1 and 5.2 are just not as good as 4.0. Let's say 4.
In what way?
Just the actual content is just not as good. It actually beats all of the other models on the metrics that like developers look at. But if you analyze the content, you ask it to create an SEO article or do this or do that, like it just doesn't produce as good content. It's less human, I think, is the complaint. Is much better at the robotic stuff, much worse at the human stuff. I haven't even got access to it yet. Unfortunately, us lonely people in Australia get it last, but eventually it'll come. Now, yeah, so we got better, right? Claude is the best at it. Now Claude can take concepts that maybe are not relevant, maybe there aren't any examples in your industry, and reform them, model them for your industry. Yes, it can do that, but it's still not a new concept. It's rare to see AI create something completely new where it isn't pulling from examples.
But that could be said for humans too, right? We find, like in the music industry, as an example, you think, wow, that was such a hit, what a great song. And then someone digs out their old vinyl and goes, actually, this was out like 50 years ago. It's the same, isn't it?
It is and it isn't. There are still a few trendsetters that are creating something new. See this in LinkedIn. Like I'm going to get all of the stats wrong here, but somebody said that there's only like 4 or 5 templates being used on LinkedIn. They're all successfully, they're all some variation of these 4 or 5 templates. But those 4 or 5 templates were unique. And like the one that came about last year, I think it was like Lara Acosta that did it, or maybe, anyway, it was like the whole timeline of how you got there. It's like, some people call it the reintroduction post. And it's like, let me reintroduce myself. At 18, I dropped out of school, and then I dropped out of university, and then I got fired from my first job. And then, some of them, they go deep. They're like, I was homeless and all of this. And then I got my first business. Then I got hit 10,000. You know what I mean? It does the timeline that paints the picture. Now, that wasn't around a few years ago. Somebody created that like that. There's nothing that I can see in social media land that is similar to that.
And so for the people who are the leaders, the ones that are the creators, what is their secret sauce? Is it popularity, or what do you think they're doing? How do you think that they're the ones that are being the movers and shakers of the creation world?
I wish I could remember exactly what I read from Hormozi or listened to Hormozi today. But it was like, if you want to be successful, it's something like you must be able to deal with a rejection. Like, you're not going to be worried about putting something out there and being rejected. You must be able to endure the monotony of repetition. And I think there was a third one as well, but those two stuck with me. And that's right. Like, the people that create awesome shit, they've created a lot of crap before that. And they just keep on going. They keep on plugging away. They persevere. So if you want to be successful, that's it. Like,
cool.
In my business career, when I was going through the middle of my career, just chipping and changing, trying new things, that's when I was least successful. When I put my head down and just focused on one thing and just kept on doing it until I got it right, iterating one thing at a time and not iterating too quickly, letting things get time to get the data, that's when I was successful.
Great advice. Really like that. Okay, so remind us again, we've got a great event that's going to be coming up in the new year.
Yep.
How do people get involved in that? And how can people learn something before they get there?
I will be releasing a course, probably going to come early Jan, which will take you through this step. That whole thing that we did, leveling up, is going to take you through how to do that on a B2B level, and which is pertinent for anyone that's looking to launch an AI business, right? Most AI businesses are going to be B2B. Mm-hmm. This is the way to do it without spending huge amounts on ads and without having to have an existing audience. So that'll be the easiest way. Or come in and we're doing weekly transformation calls in our school community, Make Money with AI. And I'm sure if anyone asks me any of these questions, like somebody did a few days ago, I'll also share all of the secret sauce because I love talking about it.
I love that. Yeah, fantastic. Great. Yeah, and 100%. The community is something to get involved in. And when you're in, DM me or James, say hello, introduce yourself to the community. We'd love to see how we can help you on your journey. We're specifically out there to help people, become the AI authority in their niche. So yeah, we're really keen to help people on their way on that journey. And do something with it when you're in there. It's like, don't just look around, get involved, get your hands dirty. And have a bit of fun along the way as well.
Take action. It's all about that.
Cool. It seems like a good place to leave it right now.
Awesome. Well, I guess we'll see you next time.
I guess we'll see you up in the AI.